my husband if it was okay to have a friend with benefits. He freaked out and divorced me. I just asked my husband a simple question, but now that question seems to be leading us to the end of our marriage. I asked him if I could have a friend with benefits, and then he got so angry that he told me our marriage was over. I just wanted some entertainment in our marriage because things had turned gray and boring, and I was honestly tired of living like that. I wanted to spice up our marriage and just bring back the color I once had in life. He said I disrespected him and our marriage by even bringing up the topic, and that we can never go back to the way we used to be. I just don't get it, and I don't feel like I'll ever get it. It's not a question I expected to end up getting out of hand like this. If someone had told me a thing like this would happen 3 years ago, I'd have looked in their face and laughed at them. And I'm here today to ask you all to be the judge of this matter. I want to know if I'm really wrong for bringing up that topic. Okay, I can say that I was sent out of line, but isn't my husband overacting? I didn't cheat on him, and I've never cheated on him. It was just a question. Should a single question lead to divorce? I've apologized several times, but there's nothing I've said that has made him forgive me. He's hell-bent okay getting this divorce no matter what I say. My name is Catherine, and I'm a 27-year-old receptionist. I've been married for 3.5 years now to my 30-year-old husband, Finn. That's right. My husband and I have a total of 3 years difference. We actually got married pretty early into our relationship because we didn't see the need to wait. I'm 27 years old now, so I got married when I was 24 years old. My husband, on the other hand, got married when he was 27 years old. I was still pretty much in my final year of college before I met my husband and got married to him. It was a fast relationship, but it was definitely full of love for one another. I used to love my husband so much and respect him, but I don't know why things just suddenly became different. I never imagined that the marriage that was once filled with so much love and care could turn into something this dramatic and annoying. I never thought falling out of love for a person was a real thing. My husband thinks I've fallen out of love for him, so he wants us to end the narrative right away. He strongly feels that the decision I made was just a sign that I was tired of the marriage and wanted a divorce. I have tried to explain to him that it's not the case. Sure, I've gotten bored and tired of the marriage, but that just happens on some occasions. It's something that goes and comes, and it's not like it's temporary. At the end of the day, those feelings always end up going away, and then things go back to the way they used to be. That's why I told him I just wanted a friend with benefits. It was advice from someone, and I decided to take the advice. I didn't ever think that this advice would be the end of my marriage. I keep saying the end of my marriage because I do not think that Finn would ever forgive me. I know that there's nothing I can do or say to get us back to the way we used to be. Right now, he's just always angry at me, and I know he's already filing for divorce papers. My decision to ask for a friend with benefits didn't just come out of nowhere or out of my sudden dislike for him. It's just something that was literally a spur of the moment and something I decided to do out of peer pressure. I never imagined being in this kind of situation for once in my life. I never thought I'd look into my mother's eyes and tell her my marriage is going to end because I suggested having an affair partner while still married. I'm ashamed of the thought of things escalating this far. But there's always a saying that there's no smoke without fire. Everything started with a motive, and there was a reason behind it. For the past 3 years, Finn and I have tried our best to grow from a young, bubbly couple who were just obsessed with each other to mature adults with no interest in being naive. 3 years into our marriage, a lot of charges started to erupt. It was either one problem or the other. None of it was his or my fault. It was just as a result of the kind of people we surround ourselves with. You see, not a lot of people were initially in support of my marriage to my husband. Many people frit like we were rushing into things, and it was never going to end well for us. Finn grew up in a foster home and doesn't really know his real parents. Presently, I'm in contact with his foster parents. He cares for them and respects them a lot. But for me, I really dislike them. It's not like they've done something in particular to hurt me. It's just that I've seen the way they tried their best to halt our marriage from the very beginning. Apart from his foster parents, which I'll still make reference to as I continue writing this video, I need to talk about how our 3rd wedding anniversary turned into a night of tears. A lot had happened in my marriage, and all these things played one role or the other in making me forget the rules and just acting based on instinct. I was just tired of all the unnecessary problems this marriage started having. It got to the point that I started to lose interest in my own husband. I was just tired of the way things were going in our marriage, and I decided to go make the tough decision of wanting some sort of entertainment. The decision wasn't solely mine, but I definitely played a role in asking my husband for permission to have a friend with benefits. Like I said earlier, his foster parents dislike me. I know that's true even though they don't like to show it. They are controlling people, and I know that it just really hurts them that he didn't end up getting married to the woman they chose. He has always found everything they wanted, but the first time he disobeyed them was when he married me. I was never the one they wanted him to marry. Finn tried to hide the fact that his foster parents chose a bride for him, but I found it out eventually. At first, I wondered why they always gave me the cold shoulder and why they never tried to treat me well. They were just passive-aggressive, and it took a lot of attention for me to understand that they didn't like me. I only got to know that I was not their initial choice 1 year into our marriage. We drank a lot that night and played a truth or dare game. Finn can hardly hold his alcohol, so he got drunk first. While he was drunk, I asked him if there was a girl he wanted to marry before me, and that's when he unconsciously told me his foster parents had chosen a bride for him. He didn't want to marry her, so he told them he wasn't interested. According to him, they were supportive and didn't complain. But I obviously knew they held a grudge because that just explained why they are always passive-aggressive, and tried their best to be dramatic about every single thing. This actually caused the first big fight in our marriage. I told Finn the next day that I was upset with him. It just didn't make sense that he heard something like that from me. If he told me at first, I would have known how to be careful around them. I spent a whole year trying to figure out why they didn't like me. Unknown to me that it was actually because Finn didn't tell me they had chosen someone for him. We fought a lot, but at the end of the day, we forgot all about it. I have a friend called Jason, and we've been friends all our lives. I have known him since my childhood, and we were also neighbors. So Jason is still pretty much in my life till this day. But now I cannot even talk to him as much as I want because of a particular incident that happened on my 3rd wedding anniversary. My husband actually thought that I was having an affair with Jason. I'm here to be honest, and I can boldly tell you all that, and I have never even shared a kiss on the lips before or after I met my husband. I've never seen him that way, and he's practically like a brother to me. But my husband has always been suspicious about my relationship with him. I don't blame him because his foster parents are also involved. I'm this. They are the ones who fed him all with several stories. On our 3rd wedding anniversary, Jason was invited to the house. I actually invited him. It was just an intimate dinner with his family and mine, and I decided to invite Jason too. After we had dinner, we decided to dance. We went to the living room and everyone was dancing. At some point, we started switching partners and I started dancing with Jason. Jason had a lot to drink that day, and he was so drunk that he was stepping on me and kissing his steps. As a result of that, I had to hold him so he wouldn't fall. I told him to sit down, but he refused and told me he had to dance with me. People on Reddit, please let me know if I was wrong for holding my drunk friend in place so he wouldn't fall. Jason is quite big, so all my efforts were in vain. When I noticed that he was getting too drunk, I tried walking him to the chair. Till this day, finding out if Jason did it intentionally or if it was a mistake, but he wrapped his hands around my waist and almost fell on me because he was leaning in too close. That's when something very stupid and disrespectful happened, guys. Even as I'm writing this now, I'm literally boiling with anger because the disrespect I felt that day was just too much. It was definitely unwarranted. Finn's foster mother just came out of nowhere and pushed Yakshim away. She made a huge scene and almost slapped me in the face. According to her, I had disrespected my husband and the whole family by cuddling another guy in their presence. Yes, that's the word she used. I don't even know how she came to that conclusion or why she felt the need to lie like that. He was drunk, and he held me for support. I was so focused on trying to get him to the couch because of how big and heavy he was on me that I didn't think him wrapping his hands around me was a big deal. I mean, we were in the middle of people. Family, to be precise. If I wanted to act suspicious or do something stupid, why would I be comfortable doing it when all eyes were on me? It was just obvious that she didn't like me and wanted to cause drama. Finn, on the other hand, got so angry that he asked everyone to go home. Yes, they actually asked everyone to go home. When everyone left, he confronted me and accused me of cheating on him. Can you believe that? People on Reddit, I actually cried myself to sleep that night because I couldn't believe that he felt that I would chest on him. Jason is my childhood friend, and I've always seen him as brighter. So that day, I don't understand how anyone could think that there was anything romantic going on between us. What surprised me the most was the way Finn kept talking about several situations where he found Jason's behavior inappropriate. It was at that moment I realized that his foster mother had been trying to put ideas into his head all along, and he had been riding with it. That really made me angry, and we argued a lot that night. We argued so much that we had to sleep separately. I know some of you might be wondering how this has anything to do with the story, but trust me, it does. It actually has a lot to with the story, and how my husband overacted because of something so trivial. Yes, I see the question I asked as something trivial. It's one thing to ask something, and it's another thing to actually do it. All I asked him was if I could have a friend with benefits. It's not like I told him I already had one. If he wanted to be angry for a couple of days, then it's understandable. But asking for divorce is just another level of reaching. I mean, it was practically a yes or no question that I never saw going out of hand like this. He accused me of a lot of things because of that single question. I won't lie or try to hide things, so I'm going to get 100% serious. Our marriage became boring, and I got tired of the interference. We were also never the same after the Tuts anniversary, and I held a grudge. He made me stop seeing Jason, and that hurt me a lot. It's painful to know that your own partner doesn't even trust you around your own childhood friend. What he doesn't understand is that if I wanted to be with Jason, I would have been with him before we got together. The fact that he thinks something is even going on between us is laughable. I don't like Jason like that, and I know I never will. But now I know that the situation caused some sort of rift between me and Jackson, and he decided to set me up. I'm not sure if this is yet, but it's something I'm investigating. After Finn practically threw out that day, he stopped calling me as regularly as he usually did, and he stayed giving me the silent treatment. Then, suddenly, one day he invited me to a club with some of our old friends. Finn was out of town, and it was a Saturday, so I decided to go to the club. I messaged Finn and told him I was going to a club with my old friends. He asked me if Jason was going to be there, and I said no. I don't think I really owe him that kind of explanation. He doesn't need to know every single person I go out with. I know myself, and I know that I will never cheat on him. When I asked about the friend with benefits, I was asking to know if he was fine with it. I planned to go ahead and cheat if he said yes. But when I noticed he hated the idea, I didn't dare try to cheat on him. So I went to the club that day without letting him know because I just didn't feel like he had any rights whatsoever to dictate who I spent time with. I've never been one to dictate anything for him. Do I expect the same energy from him? But it was at this particular party that I ended up with the idea to cheat on him. This party was the one that put the ideas into my head, and I'm the fool for allowing them in. But for a marriage that started getting annoying and full of restraints, I thought it would be nice to do something wild. While we were at the club or party, the people there suggested something quite crazy to say the least. We were all catching up and just telling each other about how our lives were going and the crazy things that were going on in our lives. So, at some point, I also told them about my marriage jokingly. Someone said something about me being the only one married and happy and that I am just having the time of my life. I just laughed it off and said marriage isn't all that fun, and that there are some days when you want to run away. I said it was a joke, but everybody suddenly got serious and told me there were some ideas to spice up the marriage. One of my friends told me she had a friend who was married before and got tired of the marriage, so she and her husband decided to have friends with benefits. She told me they had something more like an open marriage, but it was kind of different. According to her, they did it for almost 2 months, and after that, their marriage became fun again. I acted like I was not interested, but I suddenly picked interest in what she was saying, and I decided to give it a try. That's how I ended up telling Finn I had something important to tell him after he arrived. He was surprised at first, but got excited thinking I was going to tell him something else. There was a huge smile on his face, and I could just tell that he was incredibly happy. If you're wondering what he initially thought I was going to say, well, he initially thought I was going to tell him I was pregnant. We had conversations about me stopping the birth control pills, but I didn't actually stop it. I was still contemplating on the things going on in our marriage, and I was just not ready to bring a child into the drama. So when we sat down in the living room, I told him that I was tired of how our marriage had gone from us being obsessed with each other to us disagreeing over almost everything. I told him that I just felt like it would be right for the both of us to spice up our marriage. So I told him I wanted a friend with benefits. I told him it would be a nice way to feel young again and just do something wild. My husband flared up immediately, and I almost ran out of the living room when I saw just how angry he was. He was so angry that I could see the veins in his neck. I was really surprised because it was not the kind of reaction I expected from him at all. He didn't even waste time before he started accusing me of all sorts of indescribable things. He said he was aware that I was cheating already, and that's why I suddenly want an open relationship. I tried to make him understand that I wasn't cheating, but he just kept on coming up with several demeaning names to call me. He told me he knew it was just a matter of time before I came up with some sort of silly excuse to cheat. He even went as far as saying that he was sure that Jason was the one I planned to cheat with. That's why I suggested having a friend with benefits. I fell to my knees and literally swore that I wasn't cheating on him. I tried to make him understand that everything I said was just me asking if it was okay to have a friend with benefits. I tried my best to make him understand that there was absolutely nothing going on between me and Jason. I can swear that I didn't even have Jason in mind when I made the decision to have a friend with benefits. I don't even see him that way. Jason is also on Reddit, and I'm sure that if one day he eventually gets to see this post, maybe 10 years later, he would laugh it off. Even though we're going through a bad time in our friendship where I don't know if I can trust him, I know he's fully aware that I don't have any intimate feelings towards him. It really hurt me to know that Finn had the thought that I was asking for permission to cheat on him with Jackson, when all I really wanted to do was have fun. I know I sound like a loose woman, but please bear with me. I'm just expressing myself, and I know that there are a lot of bad decisions I've made. But I never imagined my husband making this big decision. I gave him space to breathe and thought he would forget all about what I said the next day. But all he did was tell me that he wanted a divorce. I'm 100% sure he spoke to his foster parents and they were the ones who gave him that idea. Because Infocot understand why a single question is leading to divorce. It's been a week now and he has tried sending me out of the house, but I refused. I told him I'm not leaving if we get a divorce. I thought that would discourage him, but now I just got to know the divorce papers are ready. He's moving fast. I'm heartbroken. Update. Finn went through with the divorce. The divorce papers came barely 5 days after I posted here, and that was it. Our case is still in court, but with the way things are going, I might get to keep the house. Even though many people have told me that it's a big win to have the house, a past of me knows I'm not happy. I'm not happy that a foolish statement ended my marriage. I didn't know my words would cut so deep that there's no way out of it now. If I had actually cheated, it would have hurt me less. By the way, I discovered that Jason had no hand in making anyone suggest I make a friend with benefits. He had nothing to do with it, and it was just a conversation that happened in the spur of the moment. We still talk, but just not like before. It's now a formal relationship. I don't think our friendship can ever get back to normal. He's angry my husband disrespected him, and I don't want people to think there was actually something going on between us because nothing ever happened. So the distance is best. Finn, my incoming ex-husband, has refused to speak to me or even look at me. I heard he's angry I get to keep the house. I initially made my lawyer say that because I thought he would end the divorce then, but he didn't. That's the only thing I asked for, so I couldn't withdraw it when things got heated. It was either the house or I left with nothing. At the end of the day, we built each other together. We left college together and I watched him buy this house. If we're getting a divorce as a result of him finding faults where there's none, he should let the house go. I just asked for a friend with benefits, but he overacted. I have never cheated on him or even kissed another guy. It's a pity that my words mean absolutely nothing now.